You're listening to The Burning Truth. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, dude and dudettes. I am Matt Burns, and with me, as always, is none other than my partner in crime, JB, known as John Below.
Do you have to announce every week about the crime? I mean, we're never going to get away with it if you keep telling everyone we're doing it. Isn't that like the first rule of crime?
No, I'm basically being so covert, I'm being so,
Oh, I'm with you. You're basically doing double reverse psychology. You're hoping that just by putting it out there, everyone simply won't believe we're doing it.
Yeah, because it's that insane, because it's us.
I'm with you now.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. With
It's
that in mind,
it's so extrovert that it's covert.
I think I understand where you're going with that. And with that, now we've got that cleared up. Hi, everyone. How you doing? We
Hello.
have the usual jam-packed show for you this week. This week, yeah, quite a lot to talk about. And quite a lot of it does centre around news again, because, we did say we were going to move away from that, but then WWE had a pay-per-view, so we kind of have to cover it, don't we?
Yes, it's one of the fundamental ones that we have to do cover, which is that we had Money in the Bank.
Yeah. Money in the bank.
Right. However, we have got a lot to discuss.
I was going to say, that is far from the only thing we're talking about, but I think that's going to be the first thing, isn't it?
It most likely could be, if you want to get anything heavy out the way, as in something that we wanted to discuss, but not sort of delve too much into if you wanted to.
We could get that particular thing out of the way if you're thinking of what I think you're thinking of thinking about thinking.
Yeah.
Did I say the word thinking enough in that sentence? Because I've totally confused myself.
Yeah.
I think.
Anyway, would you like me to do the audio disclaimer this year? Oh, not for the year, for this episode?
If you wish. Go knock yourself out. Actually, don't. That'd be silly, because then I'd have to broadcast on my own. You know what I mean, metaphorically speaking. Just, you do it.
Right. For this week, I'm basically stating that the following audio disclaimer is to be recognised. Basically, that some of the topics that we do discuss and some of the language that will be used on this episode may be unsuitable for younger listeners and may, certain people may find offensive. If you do find a certain language, certain, crude language.
Use of strong language and language designed to cause shock and, well, let's face it, offence.
Or topics that may offend as well, more so.
Yeah, if any of that is the case, please.
Please, you have been warned, and audio discretion is heavily advised. And of course, go on, JB, do your usual.
Listener discretion is strongly advised. No, that's not what you were expecting me to say, is it? No.
No.
The following programme may contain storylines and viewpoints not suitable for younger listeners and may also contain language and storyline topics this week not suitable for those of a sensitive disposition and other listeners. This programme may also contain strobe lighting effects.
And there we go. That's his one per list.
That's one of the three off the list.
Yeah. Oh, good Lord.
We'll get on to Booker T's Room of Candles, and that's not how you spell
God's sake!
Riker later on.
For God's sake!
I actually didn't want to mention Booker T this week, or his Room of Candles, where I'm sure he's currently not in it because I'm pretty sure Alistair Black is in there recuperating from... Wait, spoilers.
We'll get to that a bit later.
Yeah, I wasn't going to mention that this week, but we've got to mention... That's not how you spell Jackson Riker later on, haven't we?
I like how you fired in the Booker T to make me angry, but also threw in the Riker to cheer me the hell up at the same time.
Hey, Right, speaking of angry, yeah, this first topic we've got to cover, well, how can I put this, is probably going to make quite a lot of people angry and upset and slightly sickened. But we've got to mention it.
It may do, but depending on... We're not going to dive into it too much. And you just heard us mention the audio disclaimer.
Oh, yeah.
Which still heavily stands. However, additional disclaimer will be mentioned after we mention the topic, which is the fact that we have got a former WWE champion,
former world heavyweight champion, who has been a complete twat, I think is the shortest and most succinct way to put it.
Actually, I think he's still undercoating it.
Yes, but I'm trying not to think about it too much, as anyone listening should not either. Right. The disclaimer goes as follows. We are about to talk about something which we are literally going to gloss over the bare facts of. If you want to know more...
That's not the actual disclaimer. All I'm just going... Let me mention it because you haven't properly looked into it too much. Well, I have.
Oh, well, by the sounds of what little I have seen, you have my sympathy.
Right. The following disclaimer is the fact that we are going to mention the cover of the topic. Yes, we are just going to mention just the main fact of what's happened. We are not going to discuss in great detail, and I will say very graphic details of what's happened in regards to it. If you do decide to look into it, be heavily advised that anyone who is underage, who has got a
nervous disposition or who is easily offended
and finds
content of a graphic nature in any way disturbing, be heavily advised. Take all that into account and think very carefully before you do any research. And again, the usual disclaimer, The Burning Truth cannot be held responsible for the content of any external sites you may use to do that research.
100%, and believe me when I say this is a topic when I actually read up myself. This is one that I actually personally turned around to JB and said, stop before you continue.
Yeah. And when you hear even the basic outline of the story, you'll understand why I read the first 3 lines of one news article and thought, well, we've got to mention this, but I don't know how.
Right.
Okay. Warning for strong language right off the bat, because we're going to have to mention what the topic is now. Ladies and gentlemen, Alberto Del Rio is a cunt.
Basically, Alberto Del Rio has been arrested. And the cause of the reason is the main... is basically
the main reason for any disclaimers we may have just put out. The reason why he has been arrested is in equal measure despicable, unfathomable, and inexcusable.
Now, normally we wouldn't even mention the names, and we're not going to mention the act of it because we don't want you looking into this. And believe me when I say this, normally in regards to this sort of thing that he's been arrested for,
we wouldn't even dignify it with a mention, but...
We wouldn't normally mention it, but it is something that it does need to be mentioned, and the scary thing about it all is the fact that he's actually out on bail.
Yeah. So how are we going to tiptoe around this? What are we actually going to mention in regards to this?
All I will state is... He was arrested due to sexual harassment and additional charges.
I was going to simply use the phrase domestic disturbances and potential abuse, but no, that you need to add that. As unsavoury as it is, you need to know exactly what the silly sod's been doing.
I've mentioned that because it is I know some may find what I just stated quite a bit shocking and
Yeah,
just...
but the reason we mention it, I think what Matt Burns is driving at here is because it's a subject that needs to be in the public eye, and it needs to be talked about. And while I'm not for 1 second saying normalized, because it doesn't, it needs to be recognized for the hideous thing that it is, and anyone that does it needs to recognize that if they do it, well, they're basically the lowest of the low, and it's quite right if they were in any way famous if their entire public life is over because of it.
Regardless of fame or anything, it's
the kind of thing that you don't recover from, and frankly, quite rightly.
It's
because
something,
you've got to think of the victims at this point, and they're never going to be the same. So there's absolutely no reason why you should be allowed to be.
And it's something that we've actually held off a little bit. We almost considered holding it off due to waiting to find out if any of it was, morally true and everything. Now, at this moment in time, yes, he is currently out on bail and will most likely be going to court. And if other than what we've mentioned so far, we will not be going back to
speculate. No,
we will not be going back to this topic unless a verdict has been reached and has been clarified. If it is that what has been mentioned is incorrect, then the Burns
of course we will issue a statement.
Yes, but if not, we will just be mentioning the verdict in regards to it, but not what the charges
not passing any judgment on it or what the charges are or anything like that.
As such,
because like we said, if you want to look it up for yourself, feel free. But if you've in any way think you might be easily offended or have a negative, a sensitive disposition, or generally, used to think that he was a respectable human being, perhaps it's best if you don't, because allegedly at this stage, since he's out on bail, he really, really isn't.
And it is a topic that is just very, very unpleasant. And we're going to be leaving it there effectively immediately as of right now.
Suits me fine.
Right.
We've managed to tiptoe around that well enough. So on to more positive, whimsical, outright weird, and occasionally baffling news in the form of the Money in the Bank pay-per-view.
Yes. We'll get the predictions straight out.
Yeah, I was going to say, let's go straight in with them. Go on. You won, didn't you?
Yeah, by one.
That's a lot closer than I thought, but still. Does that include the match which, we couldn't have seen coming? Or is that one void?
That's even voided.
Oh, so that's by one, even including the fact that one isn't included. Okay.
The result would have been the same.
Oh, yeah, because we both said...
Yeah, the same.
The right result for who lost, just not who won. Yeah, all will become clear. In case you're scratching your heads at that.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are getting on to the Money in the Bank, which is basically... Right, I'm just going to mention, in my own mind, my mostly overall thoughts in regards to Money in the Bank, which is parts of it interesting, parts of it,
Yeah. Quite a lot of it sensible, interesting, usual WWE fare, with more than the usual large sprinkling of what the doused on the top. Shall we go through it match by match? I think that's the safest way.
It would be, but we'll have to speed it up because we've got a lot to discuss.
Well, the thing is, this was the shortest WWE pay-per-view since the days of the B-level pay-per-views, which were called In Your House. The irony that not long after this show, it was announced that the next NXT pay-per-view is going to be called NXT Takeover In Your House was not lost on me. But so the fact that the whole show was only just under 2.5 hours long means we need...
Excluding the pre-show.
Yeah. The main show. The pre-show was an hour, same as it always is, but...
Yeah.
That basically means you'd think that means we've got less to talk about. We haven't, but nonetheless, we're going to try and get through it as quickly as we can.
Basically, if you just had just the main run time of the actual show, there was actually more happening on the show, and it ran for less than Raw does.
Conclusive proof, just in case there's anyone in the world whose name isn't Vincent Kennedy McMahon who doesn't think that 3 hours is an hour too long for Raw, this proved it.
Pretty much. Right, let's just get down to
the
results, which is we have...
We'll start with the pre-show, yep.
Jeff Hardy versus Cesaro. Jeff Hardy defeated Cesaro, which is where I went one up.
Well, I didn't predict that coming because I didn't honestly think that Cesaro, who is someone they're sort of stop-startedly trying to push, would gain anything from losing to Jeff Hardy, who they're also trying to push, but doesn't really need it. He's been to the top of the mountain, Cesaro hasn't. Anyway, whatever the thinking was, Jeff Hardy won.
Yes. That it was.
The next match was, the Fatal 4-Way for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships.
I'll let you mention it now before I bust out into laughter.
The New Day, Big E, but not Langston anymore, and Kofi Kingston, defeated the Forgotten Sons, Steve Cutler, and Frosted Flake Wesley Blake, with "That's not how you spell Jackson" right at ringside. The Miz and John Morrison, and Gran Metalik and Lince Dorado, collectively the Lucha House Party.
Yes,
No, go on.
Yes, with this prediction, I went 2-0 up.
Yeah, because I predicted the Stay Forgotten Sons.
And I went with the successful defense, and because of that, from there, every other, we had one more differentiate. So unfortunately, I already won by then.
Yeah, it was good to get it out of the way early doors and just not have to worry about it. So yeah, this match was great. It was a fantastic, lots of teams tag match. There was lots of suspense. At multiple points, you thought all the different teams were going to win it.
I actually thought you were going to beat me.
I actually genuinely thought at one point, about 2/3 of the way through, they've gone and done it, haven't they? They're actually going to win.
And I was like, wow, this is going to be great. And nope, I ended up being right.
Your winners, and still the 657-time tag team champions, the New Day.
WWE SmackDown Tag Team Champions, the New Day.
Yes.
Moving on. Next match.
For everything that was great about that match, blink and you'll miss this next one.
Right. This one was the one that on our predictions,
we both said R-Truth would lose.
Yeah, but
so we both kind of got it right, but we didn't see what happened coming.
Huh?
Basically, for those of you who are scratching your head at this point, R-Truth lost, but not to the person who was advertised to be his opponent.
So technically, if he was advertised in that match and people who are actually paid to see this wrestler to wrestle,
bit of a letdown, really.
A little bit, just a little bit. Yeah.
So the person who we all thought was going to make an appearance, MVP,
who did make an appearance,
came out. Yay! We all got to set eyes on him and make sure that he wasn't, he's
doing his ballin'.
He's still there. He's still acting like it's 2005. It's all good. Then Bobby Lashley came out for reasons that were never explained on the pay-per-view. I have to assume they gave at least a cursory reasoning on one of the Raw or SmackDowns before the show. That reaction from Matt Burns suggests no. But anyway, for some reason, Lashley came out. It
was more or less sort of explained a little bit after, but...
Yeah, Lashley came out. MVP patted him on the shoulder, said...
There's a valid reason why.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that after the result.
Lashley said to MVP, I got this. Take the night off. He did. And in 1 minute 40, Lashley defeated R-Truth, as anyone under the sun could have predicted.
Yeah, after R-Truth had inadvertently, accidentally, somehow, deliberately slapped Bobby Lashley across the face.
Not a very long list of things other than that, but fairly close to the bottom of the list of things you want to do in close proximity to Bobby Lashley. But this is our truth. We all know that whatever beat of his drum that he walks to, it's not the same as everyone else. He's in his own little world. And I think his post-match interview, which, by the way, still gold, as all our truth interviews are, was probably the best thing about this match.
Yes.
So, yeah, Lashley, not MVP as advertised, defeated our truth in, I'm not going to say record time, because it just isn't, but in less than 2 minutes.
So hang on. WWE false advertising again.
Hey, have you not ever seen the asterisk that they always put somewhere hidden on the poster? Which leads to the line at the bottom of the poster.
I'm on about.
Subject to change.
I'm not on about the... hang on. Card subject to change. Really? Let me just point something out to you. The fact that I actually noticed something on the original poster compared to when we were actually watching the event.
Oh, the original poster that had someone who had no part in this pay-per-view front and centre on it, which they had to quickly change when they realised it. Yes, I know where you're going with this.
And basically changed it, and I'll get to that person later, because I'm going to have to mention it briefly in regards to SmackDown, because... oh my fucking God.
Yes.
That will be a soapbox moment.
That will be a soapbox moment. But anyway, we need to crash through the rest of these results. So...
Let's get through to it. Right, basically, Bobby Lashley crushed our truth, and do you know the reason being?
Go on.
Can we saying to you that MVP was getting a stable?
Is he still? Is that what this was a prelude to?
It's basically looking like Lashley is going to go with with MVP, and Lana's not agreeing with it. Basically, that could be the WWE way of saying, we're throwing you out, Lana.
Yeah, your husband's on the scrap heap, and now your on-screen husband is also separating from you because we want to put you with your real one.
Yes, because unfortunately, Rusev is no longer Rusev, and he's not allowed to use that name, as he has clearly stated. He is now known only as Miro. And Miro
which is an abbreviation of his real first name, Miroslav.
Correct. And Miro is now, instead of wrestling, is Twitch streaming. He's gaming.
Fair enough. Good on him.
And are you ready for this? He is not allowed to have his wife on the stream.
Because she is still a contracted WWE employee, and he is not.
And basically, if he actually has her on her stream, he can be sued.
Wow. That's almost as surreal as a completely non-wrestling thing, which I will just seek into at this point, which I saw on my Twitter feed this week, which involves Ferrari Formula One driver Charles Leclerc, who was broadcasting a live virtual F1 race on his Twitch stream.
Yep.
And his girlfriend had to buy a month's subscription to his Twitch stream, log in, and send him a message asking him to get the hell away from the race, come open the front door and let her into their house.
Ibs?
Yeah. I'd love to know how he got his way around that one, but he obviously didn't suffer too badly from it because he posted this to that full effect on his Twitter page shortly afterwards.
Now, are you ready for this?
Yeah.
WWE are not going to be that anal, are they? Oh, wait. Okay. It looks like they possibly are going to be, even though WWE have inadvertently done it themselves.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me.
Now, do you want to laugh? I can even actually point it out.
Go on.
When it happened. Hello, Renee.
Renee Young, as in Mrs. How can I put this? You can Mrs. Renee Moxley, as she's not known to anybody.
Yes,
wife of the current AEW heavyweight champion of the world.
Yeah. Basically, now if I'm not mistaken, didn't he ended up popping up on WWE backstage inadvertently?
What, because they did something from her house and he, as he shares it with her, happened to be there?
Yeah.
Yeah, but Lashley can't do that. Sorry, not Lashley.
Miro.
The artist formerly known as Rusev can't do that.
Yeah. Basically, it's one of them. If it's an AEW star on a WWE television show, that's fine. If it's the opposite on any other streaming service, no, we don't want that.
Yeah, double standards, much.
Just a little bit. Anyway,
we need to
moving
crack on. See, we both said anyway exactly the same time then, so that just goes to show, even though through the wonders of technology we're not in the same room, we know when we're waffling, in case you ever wondered.
Yes.
The next match was the singles match for the WWE SmackDown Women's Championship.
Which we all knew how it was going to end.
Oh, we could all see it coming 10,000 miles off. Bayley, with Sasha Banks, defeated Tamina in, okay, the good guy is the bad guy and the bad guy is smiling and trying to be the good guy topsy-turvy world match, which WWE seems to specialise in at the moment. Maybe more on that later.
Can you remember me saying to you about that missing person?
Yes.
Actually linked to somebody in this match. We'll get to that straight after this.
Okay.
Basically, Bayley managed to defeat Tamina. Big shocker. Saw it coming a mile off because Tamina hasn't been labelled a serious threat.
Hasn't won a match, bar maybe the one that got her this title shot in how many years?
Yeah, and do you know what the big shocker is? Everyone turns around and says, "Oh, how did Tamina? Tamina, she is a credible threat." Yeah, she was that much of a credible threat. Her last championship title match, which was at WrestleMania, and she was in an elimination match. And when was she eliminated? Was
it last? No, it was not.
It was second first.
To last? No, it wasn't. Oh, you had to go and kill the suspense. All right. We're on a tight time schedule. I get that. Yeah, it was first, which makes her about as credible a threat as if WWE were to announce that Bayley was to next have a title match against NXT's Kacy Catanzaro.
Now, what made it worse is who was last eliminated in WrestleMania? Oh, that was right. Lacey Evans. And where's her title match? Oh, wait. No, she doesn't have a title match at the pay-per-view.
No, that would be silly. She's fighting for the potential to have a future one later on in the card.
Oh, possibly looking like she's having a feud with Sasha Banks, which, by the way, that entire storyline might have been thrown out on SmackDown.
Not surprised. Anyway.
Wait. And guess who's involved in throwing it out?
Rusev?
Charlotte. Fucking Flair.
I wonder if she knows she's got the same middle name as Vince fucking Russo.
I know.
Anyway, Bayley won. Tamina lost, predictably. And Bayley is now obviously looking at the WWE roster.
With a roll-up, a deadly roll-up.
That outfit that she was wearing in that colour. It's obviously a subliminal hint to WWE management.
Dr. Pepper.
Her Dr. Pepper coloured tights. It's obviously a subliminal hint to WWE management in that she is reciting the Dr. Pepper catchphrase at them. What's the worst that could happen?
Yeah.
Yeah, in terms of who the hell are they going to throw at her next for her next challenger?
You also asked me to remind you on your views of other outfit.
Of?
That her colleague was wearing?
Oh, yeah, the sort of really weird, apparently some people find it quite interesting.
I believe you're trying to
plasticky, whatever the hell that was.
I believe
that Sasha Banks was wearing.
I believe that was pleather. I think
it looked like a suitably aerated. They cut holes in it. Red condom.
Okay.
It was, okay, I know a lot of people will like it and will probably disproportionately like it more because Sasha Banks was wearing it, but I don't think it did anything for her either. That's the main thing.
Right.
But anyway, that's just an aside. Let's move on.
Let's just quickly move on because the world's most deadliest finishing manoeuvre ended up finishing the match, which was a roll-up.
It is the world's deadliest.
Even though Tamina ended up looking like she'd landed on Bayley when doing it, which is almost like a finisher.
Yes, well, someone of the stature of Tamina landing on someone the stature of Bayley, Bayley's gonna come off worse. But
They somehow got the pen. But anyway, moving on. But anyway, before we get to there, SmackDown basically had Bayley interrupt Charlotte Flair.
Yeah.
Who was cutting a heel promo.
What? This is the very same Charlotte Flair who defeated a heel to become... Oh, wait, no, hang on. She is the heel because everyone's favourite Australian with the dreadful fashion sense at WrestleMania is a face. So that makes her a heel, despite what you might...
Haven't you noticed anything yet?
Hang on. Sasha Banks interrupted her.
No, Bayley and Sasha Banks.
So, oh yes, I have noticed. Hang on, 2 heels interrupted a heel. What's going on there?
And what show are we on?
Did you just say SmackDown?
Yeah.
Oddly, I thought you did. I wondered what you'd said because it sounded alien to me because it didn't sound anything like NXT, the brand she's the champion of.
Yeah, and she's actually not meant to be part of the roster. She's also meant to be a Raw wrestler.
So the NXT champion, who otherwise is a Raw wrestler, was cutting a heel promo on SmackDown when the SmackDown Women's Champion and her best friend, all 3 of whom are heels, interrupted her.
Yeah.
Hashtag WWE logic, folks.
And are you ready for this?
Go on.
Charlotte Flair put it down to the fact that the executive wanted her because she's blonde, she is talented above everybody else, and she has the last name Flair.
So that was a little peek behind the curtain at reality then, because all of those are the reasons why she was there.
Which then Bayley then turns up and turns around and says to Charlotte, why don't you go to NXT and actually showcase, show how much better that you are than them and get off my brand, where I am the champion, and why don't you go pay a visit to Raw where you can beat Liv Morgan again?
Again, too close to the knuckle to be funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For then Charlotte Flair teased something. For her to basically turn towards and ignore Bayley.
Oh, ignore the woman who's just come out and told her to get the hell off her show and turn to the one who had stood patiently at ringside throughout all of this.
Right.
Sasha Banks. And
basically said, and she, turned around and actually, gave her praise. Saying,
shocker.
I know, gave Charlotte, Charlotte gave praise to Sasha, basically stating, I do find it odd how you are the, number one on this brand, seeing as the real, who I think should be the number one, is also in SmackDown, is also in the ring, because she was headlining Raw with myself, because Bayley deliberately pointed out that she was the first woman to be NXT champion, Raw champion, Tag Team champion, and SmackDown champion.
I see.
And basically turn around and just, and she just goes, but then again, if last time I checked, me and Sasha were headlining main events, main eventing Raw and everything, and knocking it out the park. I just didn't realise that being second fiddle and without a voice is what's and being a lackey is what's making her happy now.
Ooh, bitchy.
And just as Sasha's about to cut a promo to say to Bayley, interrupts her and says she has a voice, she can do whatever she wants, blah blah blah. But we are the role models.
Yeah, that basically implies she doesn't and stuff.
And what made it even so weird is the look on Sasha Banks' face when Bayley interrupted was like, "Bitch, please."
Yeah.
So they're
continuing to sow the seeds of a split between those two that otherwise just probably isn't going to happen, but they just keep wanting to make us think it will and then pulling the rug out from under us, don't they?
Mm-hmm. What's going to happen to stop it in the next few weeks? A hug? Sorry.
No, Bayley doesn't do that anymore. Well, especially not now, unless you can do it from 6 feet away and you've got some disinfectant wipes handy.
Nice touch there. Anyway.
Yep, I thought so. Moving swiftly on, as is long overdue.
Basically, Charlotte Flair dominating another brand show, even though she shouldn't be.
Because she's Charlotte Flair. Moving on. The next match was a singles match
for
the WWE.
Hang on. We also forgot to add that she wasn't even at the pay-per-view.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Even though she was on the poster before they changed
on
it.
the initial poster and then removed her off it. Anyway, let's move on.
Singles match for the WWE Universal Championship. Braun Strowman versus Bray Wyatt. A match which did everything we wanted it to, dropped a massive hint that something was going to happen, and then led the way for exactly what we hoped would happen.
Yes.
Yes.
Personally, I thought it was longer than what it needed to be. However, just to make everyone aware, this was actually pre-recorded.
It was? Oh, that doesn't surprise me, because of all the people on the current roster who are using this whole, hey, guess what? There's no crowd. We can do pretty much whatever we like.
Do you know why? Do you know why it was
Bray Wyatt is taking the most advantage of it. Go on, why?
Because Vince McMahon didn't want the puppeteers to be seen.
Oh, I see, because the puppeteers that had to pop up on all four sides of ringside, they had to make sure that they got a shot whereby they weren't seen at all. Yeah. That I can completely understand.
Which I'm fine with. I have no issue with that.
Yeah, to be honest, that's fine.
Anyway, we had a nice little tease that Bray Wyatt could be fighting with Braun Strowman again, but it will not be,
this time it won't
the cuddly Bray Wyatt.
It won't just be the guy who does the Firefly Funhouse. No, he's going to bring his slightly darker alter ego.
And has anybody noticed that Bray Wyatt seems to be the cuddly guy when it's somebody who hasn't actually crossed him yet? But then whenever someone crosses him on a personal grievance level, the Fiend comes into play.
Yes, I have noticed that. It is. That's the way he operates now. It's quite. I quite like it.
However, why didn't the Fiend attack Braun Strowman sooner, seeing as he's already fucking attacked him as the Fiend already?
Because maybe Bray thought he could get the job done without needing to resort to El Fiendo.
Anyway, let's move on.
And it turned out he couldn't, so that's what we've got coming at insert name of next pay-per-view here.
Yes. Backlash.
That's the bugger. Right. Strowman defeated Wyatt, leading to the rematch somehow, which will involve The Fiend, no doubt. Right. Next, the singles match for the WWE Championship.
Drew McIntyre versus Seth Rollins.
The Monday Night Miserable Bastard against the Scottish Psychopath.
By the way, so far, we all just picked the same on most of them.
Yeah, that figures.
Right. I just thought I'd point that out.
Anyway, that's cool.
Drew McIntyre versus Seth Rollins. We both picked Drew McIntyre. We both were right. The match itself was good. I thought it told a nice story.
Yeah.
It just seemed a little bit weird at the... I thought it was a big up at the end of it where Drew McIntyre shook Seth Rollins' hand. And I thought to myself, an attack's coming, but no.
No, it didn't. It was just a genuine sportsman moment, which was welcome, if perhaps unexpected.
But at the same time, also is allowing Seth Rollins to develop his character into what happened on Raw.
Uh-huh.
Which is the fact that he has become crazed on Raw.
He's basically gone down Cuckoo Street, which just happens to be a one-way street.
I can't mention who he viciously attacked and almost blinded, because we haven't mentioned him yet on this list. As they were in the main events, but we'll get to that quickly shortly after. Because the changes in Seth Rollins could be affected by change that we are going to be covering after Money in the Bank.
I see. That's cool.
For his future booking. Anyway.
That makes sense. But anyway,
the match itself was interesting, great, loved it.
Okay. It wasn't anything immediately 5-star classic, but it was perfectly acceptable. It did what it needed to.
Exactly. And the fact that Drew McIntyre is hitting the Claymore and getting the win straight away. What I thought was a nice touch is that Seth Rollins hit the curb stomp, and I thought to myself, oh crap, no.
And we were treated to the sight of approximately half the people watching letting out a massive sigh of relief
When a
when
kick out.
the 3 count did not occur.
Yes. And then one Claymore later.
Thank you, your winner, and still.
Right. The next match, or matches,
were the, in inverted commas, main events of the evening, which were shown at the same time and were the men's and women's Money in the Bank ladder matches for... Hang on the Wikipedia page here, it says the Money in the Bank ladder match for the Raw Women's Championship, which it actually wasn't. It was a ladder match for a contract to fight for the Raw Women's Championship, just like it was a ladder match for
Raw
a
changed
World
its-
Championship match.
Unfortunately, you've inadvertently done a little spoiler.
Oh, I see. Well, yeah, unknowingly, obviously, because, you know, the channel it's on, I don't get to watch Raw anymore until it's like however many weeks behind it is on the UK WWE network, by which point I've usually forgotten.
However,
But anyway, yeah.
Right. Anyway,
Let's just focus for now on the Money in the Bank matches, and we'll discuss that.
basically, it's meant to be for a main championship belt for both sides of it. Basically,
No, it's not. It's supposed to be for an opportunity to fight for said championship.
Yes, which is what it's meant to be.
Yeah.
However, there was a bit of a difference in the women's, which was revealed on Raw, which my colleagues have already spoiled, but we'll get to that on the reason
Like I say,
behind
yeah.
it.
First things first, let's talk about the matches themselves, which is...
Let's just put this under the same category. Let's put it all together.
Yeah.
Because the best way I can describe this entire match, personally, was batshit crazy.
Yes, from start to finish. Collectively, as one thing, both matches, absolutely.
I think this entire idea is drawing the line for most fans 50-50.
Well, as in, it's a roughly 50-50 split between this is brilliant and this is dog shit.
Some people saying some of it's good, some of it's bad, and then some of it's just going, oh, it's an absolute clusterfuck.
Some of it is just because WWE can, and as much as the internet complains, they're just going to keep doing it.
In case you're wondering, would you care to state which camp you're in, Blore?
Which camp I'm in? For what? Whether it was ridiculous or brilliant?
Yeah.
I thought it was spectacular, epic brilliance, doused with just enough stupid what the fuck moments to make you want to keep watching, even if you were watching through your hands, which I was at points.
And for me, you might be wondering what you probably might already know what camp I'm in.
Yeah, you're probably firmly in the it was garbage camp by the sounds of your voice.
Some of it, I can say, it was okay. It had its funny moments.
Yeah.
But then I'm thinking to myself, you could have done so much better than this.
Well, no, don't get me wrong. It was only 27 minutes long, and that's the men's match, which went 5 minutes longer than the women's match. It could have been 45, and they could have done so much more in that time. But I thought what they presented to us had a point. It had a start, a middle, and an end. It had some moderately entertaining stuff, as well as some genuinely scratch your chin, what are they trying to achieve with that moments, and it worked as a whole.
Right. You mentioned the scratch your chin moments. Are you ready for what I thought was unbaffling?
Was baffling? Well, as in you didn't quite comprehend. Was it when Dana Brooks slipped over on the wet floor and apparently didn't tuck and knocked herself unconscious because she didn't feature anymore in the entire match?
Are you ready for this?
Go on.
No.
Was it the moment when Dana Brooke thought she'd won with the case from the Money in the Bank conference room and Stephanie randomly made a cameo?
Randomly made a cameo from a different location other than that damn office, because you can clearly tell from the damn video, because it was done by a video camera.
Oh, what you mean? She was stood in a corridor somewhere else? Yeah, I noticed that too.
She wasn't in the same building. She probably was at home, and it was poorly edited, and you could see it. If you were going to do it, why didn't you just have it just be a voice
Exactly.
instead of that bodge job?
But anyway, yeah. So it wasn't that. It wasn't the open, overt sexism of the fact that the women started in the reception and the men started in the gym.
No. I've got no issues with that. No issues with that.
Well, I just thought some people might look at it and go,
Why
you didn't think that through. You didn't think that through, did you, WWE?
No, you might think that. But you ready for this?
Go on. I could guess all day, so just tell me.
Here's some of the case points I just couldn't understand. One, Asuka managed to climb up on top to jump off onto the other competitors. Why did she jump off?
What? Why did she climbed up the ladder and jumped off?
No, she got up onto a floor above, and jumped off the balcony. So she's actually a floor above everybody else.
When the aim is to get up to the top floor, and therefore she's basically sacrificed about 5 minutes of walking upstairs or 10 seconds in a lift. Yep, I don't get that.
Yeah, and at which point she then gets into a lift, and pushes the button, and is in that lift for God knows how long, and yet somehow, after all the fighting, brawling, and everything,
comes out on the top floor just ahead of everyone else.
No, she doesn't come out on the top floor. Do you remember when the guys finally got to the lift area?
Oh, yeah, and she comes out of the same lift that they then get into, even though she's in the lift and she could go to the top floor, but she's chosen not to.
So how many floors had they moved from here on the bottom floor to them actually getting to the lift? How much time would you say it passed? About 2 or 3 minutes?
2 or 3 minutes. Far, far longer than she would have been in the lift.
Yeah. If that was an actual lift, you would have been on the damn roof by now.
Well, you would have thought so, wouldn't you? But again, hashtag WWE logic, people.
Right? I know what you're thinking. Is that all? Is that all you got? No.
No. The listeners might be thinking that. I know there's more coming.
There's a hell of a lot more coming. The fact that you got Bruce Pritchard as Brother Love, who makeup didn't actually look quite right.
Well, on account of the fact he's now fatter and 25 years older, and it doesn't really suit him anymore.
I was on about the fact that he didn't have as much red face on him, but I'm divulging here. But the fact of, I just felt as though it would have been better if he was him, personally.
Yeah, possibly. I think the implication was kind of like that Titan Towers is a bit of a time warp, and things hang around in there that maybe don't exist anymore elsewhere, like some kind of weird wrestling haunted house of oddness.
On top of that, they had someone portraying Doink the Clown.
Yes.
Now, I say that's poor taste.
A little bit, bearing in mind what happened to the guy that did it originally.
Yes. Exactly my point, as you just pointed out.
Yes. Possibly
then
poor taste.
You got John Laurinaitis, people power.
Nobody needed to be reminded of that crap.
On a mobility scooter. The question is, why is he on a mobility scooter? Can't he bump? Oh, wait, he just bumped from a pie face. So why is he on a mobility scooter?
Buggered if I know. In the same reason why we've got to ask why Paul Heyman chose the precise moment they were having a Money in the Bank ladder match to sit alone at the catering table. Did
Vince McMahon just instantly sit down and think, oh, he must be a big guy, might want to eat quite a bit of food? And why is there that much food at the catering when it's just Paul Heyman? What are you implying?
I think they were trying to imply that Otis might make his way past, and Otis is quite a large gentleman. And if he hadn't...
but it doesn't matter. The fact that...
Yeah, I know. They're trying to imply Paul Heyman's fat, okay?
Because
in WWE world, being fat is still the ultimate form of easy-to-mock type
And what
thing.
makes it worse is, I'm just there thinking to myself, Paul Heyman's there, by himself.
Yeah, I thought that as well.
What's the problem there?
Thinking that 50% of this equation is missing.
Yeah, I actually thought Brock Lesnar was going to make an appearance and go up to the roof and claim the win.
It could have happened, let's be honest.
It
But
happened last
didn't.
year.
Yeah, but it didn't. And we're all quite grateful. And then, right, is that all? Because I've got a couple as well.
Oh, I haven't finished yet.
All right, well, you carry on and I'll just let you know if yours tally with mine or if they're separate.
I haven't even finished yet.
You're barely even started, I can tell.
We then got the sign that got smashed over Dana Brooks' head that somehow, okay, saw that coming. But I think Dana should have seen that one coming.
Yeah, a portrait picture of someone.
Right. Then on top of that, you've got AJ Styles running through corridor, hallway after hallway, going, "Ray, where are you? I'm going to get you." Why are you screaming around after Rey Mysterio when, you're running around for Mysterio on a said floor when his Rey Mysterio is probably heading to the top floor?
To go to the ring with the ladder in it to get the contract that is the point of the match.
On top of that, you've then got Otis before that, Otis putting a weight on AJ that you could clearly see that he could just roll it off his chest. But AJ had to work with, it's stuck on my chest, even though all I had to do is move it up.
Yes. And don't even get me started on Vince's cameo.
I was fine with that.
No, I thought it was moderately entertaining. The thing that got me was head boy AJ putting the chairs back before they left.
That was genius.
I loved it, but it was just the thing that got me a little bit was this was perfect. They can think of this, and yet so much of the rest of this has obviously just been brain farted out at the last minute. Whoever thought of this, lock them in a room until they think of more stuff like this. Then
you've got AJ Styles walking, who's still hunting for Rey Mysterio, sees an Undertaker sign, freak out, have, go, it's Undertaker, open a door, and I looked at it, I thought to myself, don't you dare bring that.
Really?
The door that AJ opened.
Myself, Booker T's room of candles, Booker T's room of candles, Booker T's room of candles. Yay!
I knew that was coming.
Wait, no, it's not. It's probably something to do with the Undertaker and or Aleister Black.
No, it was a casket which was referencing Undertaker clearly, and you look at that. Oh, I'm having a flashback to last month when I got buried.
Yes.
If that was the case, would you go into the room or would you just be standing there? You'd be heading for the roof.
Would you literally just run towards the roof, e.g. as far away from that room as you could? Yes, you would.
Aleister Black then kicks him and throws him into the room, and that was it.
Yeah. Bizarre.
We haven't even got to it yet. Right? Another thing, why didn't nobody click on the elevator and go straight to the damn roof?
Because they're professional wrestlers. They don't exist in the same logic sphere as the rest of us.
Oh, just go into catering. Believable. That's fine.
Yes.
Right? On top of that, Nia Jax should be getting ridiculed for how she was wrestling.
What? Badly, slowly.
Dangerous!
Yeah.
And yet, what I find so interesting is the fact that she was the one declaring that Ronda Rousey was dangerous. And I'm thinking to myself, I felt sorry for... and I know Blaw's going to be testing there thinking, have I just heard this? I actually felt sorry for Lacey Evans on more than one occasion because the way she got thrown by Nia.
Here's the thing that might possibly shock you and me both.
And then on top of that, I'm pretty sure that Lacey Evans ended up resitting Nia Jax.
Yes, Lacey Evans got thrown in at the deep end, as she has pretty much her entire main roster career, and she doesn't deserve half the shit that happens to her. But yeah, you could tell when she hit that, what's that preposterous name she gives her finisher, which is basically just a punch in the face.
Woman's right hand?
Yes, you could tell she did not pull that, even slightly.
She legit hit it.
Nia the fuck out.
I'm looking at her thinking to myself, that was not too bad. Just don't let Nia Jax hit the same back. In case you're wondering what I'm referencing, just ask Becky Lynch.
Yes. Ouch. Anyway, at this
Some of
point,
some of the slams in it just didn't make sense.
no,
And then this is where we're at the roof. And
we've got to the roof now. Bizarrely, after farting around on the lower floors for what seems like forever, they've suddenly jumped up the final 6 and we're on the roof.
right, the women are fighting. Not all of them are fighting on ladders.
Yes.
They're getting there. It's looking like Asuka's got the win. Oh, hang on. King Corbin has arrived.
Sorry,
He
what?
climbs a ladder. And I think to myself, oh my God, is Asuka and King Corbin going to win the match?
On one count, no.
For then King Corbin to try and stop Asuka from winning the women's match?
Conclusive proof that Baron Corbin, ladies and gentlemen, not the sharpest knife in the rack. Fundamentally.
I just paused and thought to myself, is he legit trying to stop Asuka from winning?
Are they? And do you know what briefly ran through my mind?
Go on.
That they were genuinely going to have Corbin win the women's match in a ghastly throwback to the whole Santino Marella incident from the WrestleMania Battle Royal from about 10 years ago.
Oh, good Lord.
Yeah. That thought went away as quickly as it came, and thank the good Lord himself that it didn't happen, but I shuddered as I thought about it.
Asuka then immediately fought off Baron Corbin.
Yep, kicked Baron Corbin square in the face and made him look
like a complete idiot.
Like a complete goon, as if he needed any help.
Now, that could be considered bad luck on Corbin, which was possibly referenced at the beginning of the match when he threw a weight and it smashed the mirror, which the old saying is, 7 years bad luck.
Yeah.
Could he actually?
I think by this point, Corbin's had more than enough bad luck that he's probably Grimes in ECW style, fallen off a platform 3 stories up and gone through nothing but mirrors on the way down.
But at the same time, he's had more pushes at the same time. But anyway.
Moving on.
Asuka wins the match. And the commentary team suddenly come bursting out and saying, oh, Asuka's won the match. There we go. And
which actually made me realise, for the first time in 22 minutes, that there hadn't been any commentary for this whole match.
Yeah. And then during that moment, I just paused and just thought, okay, so why aren't they calling the action? Right?
Yep.
And on top of that, as soon as they won, where did the women go?
Did they all just get in the same lift to ride back down like, okay, we're done. Congratulations, you slightly strange Japanese green mist spitter. You've won. Let's go to the... Oh, wait, we can't go to catering because Otis wrecked it. Let's go to...
No, we all
Let's go
to
Chuck E. Cheese, maybe?
Oh, no, you can't go to Chuck E. Cheese altogether because of social distancing and because of the current pandemic. Which, by the way, I couldn't believe that WWE actually mentioned.
After saying that they wouldn't and implying many times that they wouldn't even mention that they wouldn't mention it.
So if WWE is listening into our episodes, please keep doing it.
Please keep mentioning it. And please keep mentioning the fact that the whole world is in a shit show of lockdown because, hey, we know it's escapism and everything, but we don't mind being reminded. We know.
Why the current thingy isn't at the top notch.
Yes.
Why, fans aren't there. That's fine.
And now we come to...
details.
Yes, and now, the women's match having ended, we come to my main bugbear of the evening.
The men. Right, so the women have vanished. They just suddenly disappeared.
Yes. And, out of the blue, as if he hasn't had a bad enough night already...
Yep.
Karen Boring, a.k.a. Baron Boring, a.k.a. King Boring, Corbin... suddenly decides to become a murderer.
I was just about to address that myself. I was just about to say, /murderer.
Yeah, suddenly decides to become a cold-blooded murderer.
No. And not one case either.
Twice, in the space of about 30 seconds, somebody... Now, my memory is faltering here, but I believe it was Rey Mysterio and Aleister Black.
It was Rey Mysterio first and then Aleister Black, but I've got to stop you there for a second for a reason. And you'll
Okay.
appreciate this reason.
Go on.
You will appreciate it. Aleister Black, you goddamn Twitter genius.
Okay, Aleister Black did something afterwards on Twitter, which was genius, which we'll get to in a minute after we address the elephant in the room that
Corbin
is,
has just thrown 2 people off
to
building.
all intents and purposes, Baron Corbin has just thrown Aleister Black and Rey Mysterio off the roof of a 10-story building.
Which, by the way...
With no consequences. No police came and arrested him and took him away. None of the other wrestlers went, "Get away from me, you murderous freak," or reacted in any way to the fact that...
40
or even tried to stop him from doing the second one once he'd done the first one.
Yeah. It's... The odd thing about it is, not even the commentary mentioned it.
Well, there wasn't
not even once!
There wasn't any, but at the end, all they did was say who won. No.
What I mean by that is, they didn't mention it even once. Even after they announced who's won the match, they didn't even mention it after.
When they came back on to go, "Here is your winner," they didn't go, "Oh, and by the way, one of our wrestlers will no longer be featuring on WWE television because
he'll be in
prison for the rest of his life, and 2 more won't be because we're scraping their remains off the sidewalk 10 stories below where he just killed them."
Now, what makes it even more funny is it's a 10-story building, supposedly.
Yes.
Is what they're stating. And yet the adverts are saying it was 30.
Yeah. But did you see the camera shot that panned out beyond the ring area?
Yeah.
Just before all the wrestlers got there, that made it obvious and blatantly apparent that it was at best a 10-story building.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Anyway, let's get back to Murderer Corbin for a second here.
Back to the murderous scene that we just witnessed.
Yeah.
I don't know how long it was after he got thrown off the building, but Aleister Black somehow from the grave had put out a tweet of him, a single image, is either on Instagram or Twitter, of him, of a image of a ghost, someone cosplaying as a ghost.
Right.
Basically implying he's died. Making yeah. Saying he is a ghost.
I see.
Which was absolutely hilarious. However, what I didn't get was the fact that on Raw, Mysterio turned up and you got the interview saying, "How did you survive?" And Mysterio had to explain that they didn't actually quite fall off the main roof. They just fell off. They fell off the top end of the roof, and there was an actual.
They basically fell below. 1 story down to the platform 1 level below.
Yeah, just below. And Mysterio ended up teaming up with Aleister Black on Raw against Seth Rollins and Buddy Murphy. I mean, he's no longer your buddy. And basically, and they didn't address why Mysterio is teaming up with Aleister Black. Maybe because they both decided to take a leap off the roof because of Corbin.
Yeah, they didn't address the fact that, they were both reunited after not actually dying kind of horror. No.
Yeah.
So it turns out Aleister Black and Rey Mysterio are alive, and Baron Corbin isn't a vicious, murdering, cold-blooded bastard after all. But the pay-per-view itself closed with not even the slightest hint to that.
No, it didn't. But anyway, in case you're wondering what I meant by with Seth Rollins losing his mind and almost blinding somebody, it was Rey Mysterio. It looks like Seth Rollins could be going down the crazy route, which could end up basically finding a way of getting him out for a short-term leave, just in case.
Oh, yeah, for short-term leave in, I don't know, about 4 or 5 months, so that he can go and...
Wait. Before the reason...
So he can go... I was going to just say recharge his batteries, but okay.
Yes, which
there is a reason why, which we'll cover shortly.
Now, because of how long this episode is going on for right now, the original main topic that we originally set up last week, we are going to most likely transfer over to next week.
Yeah, I think we'll postpone it to next week. So next week's show, when there's no pay-per-view fallout to deal with, will be exclusively a quick run through any random news that might have happened in the week leading up to it, and what was going to be this week's main topic, which, just remind the viewers at home, listeners, was...
is history repeating itself? With the certain debut that had actually happened on NXT. And I am referring to Karrion Kross and Scarlett.
Yeah, we'll discuss that in more detail next
history
week.
be repeating itself? But anyway, we'll discuss that next week on top of your topic, which was, I believe, the topsy-turvy booking of new independent wrestlers. But anyway,
specifically
we'll get to that.
in NXT, but it's happening on the main roster as well. But anyway, yeah, that's for next week now, because we have, well, essentially... That's the madness of Money in the Bank covered.
Oh, we haven't
But do
yet.
not put the soapbox away, because we've got all of Raw and SmackDown to get through yet.
We haven't even finished Money in the Bank yet, because I've still got a massive gripe on that one yet.
Well, even though Corbin's finished not actually murdering anyone. Oh, wait, no, yeah, we haven't actually said who won the men's match, have we?
Yes, correct.
In all the excitement...
Wait. By the way, because you actually picked Asuka to win, you got your point.
Oh, yeah, so I did, yeah.
Yay!
And you didn't, because you picked, I believe, Shayna Baszler?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who,
by the way,
missing.
Complete non-event for the entire match. Where was she?
I have no idea. I legit have no idea.
Yeah. You're not the only one.
Basically, I'm just wondering if it's because Vince is lost favour with her, doesn't believe in her.
Possibly. After the huge favour she got with the push before...
Even though, by the way, the WrestleMania match with Becky Lynch could have actually been affected by what had actually happened, what was revealed on Raw.
It very well could have. And in fact, let's face it, probably was. We don't know the full details of, well, how can I say this? How far along that particular storyline she is.
Yeah, I actually looked it up and she was during that time.
Ah, yeah, well, there you go then. That might have been it.
Yeah.
Anyway, we need to wrap things up. The Money in the Bank ladder match for the Men's World Championship match contract is down to 4 because, to all intents and purposes, Ray and Aleister Black are dead. We know now they're not, thankfully, but that's how the pay-per-view wanted to present it. So we're down to AJ Styles, Otis, Daniel Bryan, and Baron Killer Corbin.
I just realised we didn't actually note down who won that match.
What do you mean?
Who did you go for in that match?
Oh, anyone that wants to listen to last week's episode and correct me when we finish with this week's, you're more than welcome to. But I'm pretty sure I picked the only man in the field born in Europe.
Really?
Missed the most protected finisher in the history of anything since Hulk Hogan's leg drop.
Oh, yeah.
50% of those that died in the match.
You went for the one that died, and I went for AJ Styles.
You went for AJ Styles. I went for Aleister Black.
That was and I was so
we
damn close.
Both couldn't have been more wrong.
And yeah, I was so damn close. Even though the explanation.
But unfortunately, due to a combination of fighting with Daniel Bryan, and Daniel Bryan obviously greased his gloves.
It wasn't Daniel Bryan who was fighting.
Oh, was it? Sorry, was it Baron Corbin?
It was Corbin.
Corbin obviously greased AJ's gloves.
Why he got hit by a guitar shot from Elias?
Oh, crap. Yeah, I'd completely forgotten that even happened because Elias is so relevant. My mind just didn't register that he was even there.
Yeah. Elias come out of, Elias decided to take a page out of Randy Orton. Come out of nowhere!
Out of nowhere with the very well gimmicked guitar that spectacularly falls to pieces at the lightest touch.
Yeah, and somehow...
Was it the shock of that made Corbin let go of the case and AJ not be able to catch it?
No, just don't. Right.
As a result of a long-lost stipulation.
Stop where you are for a minute. Okay, I'm going to have to address this situation.
Right. Yeah, I didn't think you'd put the soapbox away yet, right? Warning, Mr. Matt Burns may possibly be about to get sweary.
Right.
There's definitely a soapbox involved.
Oh, no shit.
Right, take a deep breath and fire away, because this I have got to hear.
Right. I have no issues with the fact of who won the match. It was just the fact of
How?
how it happened, right? And I'm siding with Miz on SmackDown, by the way.
Yeah.
Just pointing this out. Right? I understand that Otis couldn't climb up the stairs because he's breaking them.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you are there. If you were affected by this, but I've just lost Matt Burns. I can't hear him speak anymore. This could be quite worrying. Oh, he's back. He's back.
Right. He couldn't step up. He couldn't step up the ladders because I'm just there thinking, so he's not the picture.
He's breaking the rungs. So yeah, he clearly
Even
can't
though he
win.
could actually step up at them, he was actually just stomping down too hard. You can clearly see that. But anyway, the point being is, where was the gimmick ladder for him? It wasn't there. Okay, that's fine. I've got no issues with it. Now, the finish itself, I actually have no issue with. It was just the damn camera work.
Yeah, which, the finish itself relied upon everything being perfect, and the shoddy camera work did its very level best to make it not perfect.
And
I think is where you're going with that.
And you got the commentary team sort of trying to explain it as best they can.
Yeah, because anything that happens and then the commentary team has to come in and try and go, well, this happened because if it wasn't clear enough for us to get it by ourselves, you failed.
Right. So Elias and AJ get the case off at the same time.
Do you mean Corbin?
That was it. Corbin.
Despite having been twatted by the guitar, Corbin is somehow still up the ladder fighting for the case.
Actually happened after.
Oh, okay.
They both got it off, right? And supposedly as they're fighting, both AJ and Corbin are fighting, the blast from the guitar shot somehow shook Corbin enough to fall off the ladder, and AJ suddenly have a burst of uncontrollable
grease fingers,
almost like he's been to Little Chef in the UK.
Yeah, and as a result, the case
drops the
fell
case
down, except it didn't hit the mat.
No, it landed into
it was
the hands
caught
of Otis.
By Otis, who was conveniently stood under the ladder where he was, I assume, about to turn around and try and tip it over to knock Corbin and Styles off it.
Yeah.
So, in a situation like that where Corbin has unhooked the briefcase, Styles has had his hands all over it,
both of them,
and then Otis catches it, who wins?
Otis won.
Yes. Otis won, because as the commentators had to scramble in and back announce and explain to us, you have to be in control of the briefcase. Just like John Morrison was in control of the tag titles in the ladder match at WrestleMania when he fell off the ladder and landed on the ladder below, but conveniently had them over his shoulders, even though one of them was on the floor.
Yeah, and on top of that, are you ready for this?
Go on.
AJ actually held the briefcase in his hands with both hands at one point.
Yes. But what they will claim is...
He didn't have enough control.
Yes. Because he was able...
I'm sorry.
Because he was able to drop it, he obviously didn't have enough control to keep hold of it.
I'm sorry, I'm going to have to quote Arnold Schwarzenegger on this from a film. I can't remember what film it is off the top of my head, that is complete and utter bullshit.
I'm going to have to quote the Iron Sheik from the meme that went absolutely viral on the internet of him ranting off, most likely about something Hulk Hogan had done. Fucking bullshit!
Very much. And I'm not upset because I know AJ was my pick. That's not why I'm even damn well upset. It was the fact that Otis didn't even climb the ladder. He won a ladder match by not even climbing the ladder.
I did, at that point, have throwbacks to the time when... Do you remember when William Regal and Dave Taylor were in a tag team championship ladder match and Dave Taylor wouldn't climb the ladder because he was scared of heights? On that occasion, that's why Regal and Taylor didn't win. But in spite of the fact that Otis couldn't climb the ladder because in WWE logic speak, his fat ass kept breaking it so he couldn't get up there, he still managed to win the damn match.
Which I have no issue with him winning the
I have
match.
no issue with the fact that he won the match. It's just the way that they had him do it is ludicrous.
No,
Bear any scrutiny
Even
at
the
all.
way was fine. Even the way, because I believe that Dudley's even used something similar or something quite heelish, including in TNA, something along them lines or something. Or TNA have done it before.
Oh, possibly. Okay. Like how the commentary had to back explain in the event of the result, please make it clear to the people at home, just in case, like me, they're not sure. What did you have an issue with?
The issue is they turn around and says, you have to be in control of the briefcase. AJ had both hands on it, so technically, if he's got both hands on it, by himself, he's in control. Right?
You would have thought so, yeah. Oh, just as an aside as well, before you make your final point.
Wait.
Go
I
on.
need to make this, because if I don't, I'm going to scream.
Trust me, folks, you don't want that. Okay, make your point.
Take into account that this was all pre-recorded.
Yes.
This
Therefore,
was edited.
This the best take you could have got, guys? Really?
That's the best take that they had. And they somehow fluffed it.
Yeah, it reminds me a little bit of that. Do you remember that video that Elton John put out of him singing in a language that's yet to be deciphered by man that was supposed to be one of his hit singles recently?
I have no idea what you're on about.
Anyway, it was some feel-good thing where everyone decided to sing songs to try and make the people stuck in the houses feel better. And Elton John released a video from his house, which he obviously had time to edit, of him. I think the song he was mangling was supposed to be I'm Still Standing, but whatever language he was singing it in wasn't English. If you really, really want to see the footage, you can either watch Charlie Brooker's antiviral wipe on the iPlayer, which features said footage, or just look it up on the internet. Elton John sings in a foreign language. Should probably find it for you.
Yeah,
but anyway, that was the point that I got to. It was like, sort of, this wasn't live. You could have edited the living shit out of this, and that was the best you could do.
What I'm saying to
really
you
is that your point?
Yeah, that's my point. The fact is, they had AJ in full view holding the briefcase for a few seconds, mind you, not declared the winner, and dropping and saying he wasn't in control. So basically, when they went, and then on a past moment, someone actually asked somebody on the commentary team, I believe, I can't remember who it was, you have to be in control, meaning both feet have to be on the floor to be in control. And I just face palmed them immediately, because if that was true, then why the hell was Asuka declared the winner of the women's Money in the Bank match? Because she was declared the winner on the damn ladder.
No, I do recall that's reassured me somewhat, because I did think I'd gone mad and I thought I'd made it up, but I did seem to recall for the first couple of ladder matches, Money in the Bank ladder matches, I seem to recall that the bell didn't ring until the person who'd retrieved the briefcase put their feet back on the ring off the ladder. And I thought that they'd conveniently just brushed that under the rug. But instead, no, they had brushed it under the rug, but they've chosen to bring it back in circumstances which undermines the results of both the matches. Good work, WWE.
And making it worse, that rule got. Do you want to know when that rule got brushed underneath?
About 2010.
And do you know which wrestler it might have been mostly who got it brushed under?
Oh, let me guess. AJ Styles? No, he wasn't in the company then. Triple H?
Nope.
John Cena?
And his name is John Cena. Yeah.
Was it him?
Yeah.
Surprise me. So, ladies and gentlemen, Otis won. And can you answer me a question that I genuinely don't know? And you would have thought I've had a whole week to look this up, but I haven't remembered to.
Go on.
Is Tucker injured?
No.
So why is Otis getting this super mega ultra push?
No idea.
Is it solely because Vince likes laughing at the fat man who's not ashamed to come out in public and go like, yeah, I'm a fat man, I've got a big stomach, deal with it?
No, because I am fine with him winning it, because he is...
No, I'm fine with him winning it. I'm just wondering why he's getting the push.
I think it's possibly because his angle with the whole Mandy Rose stuff has actually been entertaining.
Has shock horror Vince McMahon actually acknowledged something that could have done Zack Ryder no end of favours, and that people can get over on their own, and they don't need to have the corporate rocket shoved up their ass as soon as they pulled it out of Roman Reigns' ass and cleaned it, just for them to successfully get over. And, you know, it can happen spontaneously.
Take into account that with Zack Ryder, he got himself over. With Otis, they actually had a right to do the storyline to get them over, and then suddenly let go of that said writer by furloughing them or firing them.
But the point being, Vince has finally acknowledged that people can get over way more than you expect them to.
Yes, but anyway, are you ready for this?
Stone Cold Steve Otis, anyone?
Otis was on SmackDown, got brought onto Miz TV. Miz ridiculed him, saying, "I can't believe that, you could potentially be the face of the company." And then the camera zoomed in on him. It's like, yes, that could be the face of the WWE. Of SmackDown.
Did Otis do what any sensible person would have done at that point?
Yeah.
Which is just eat the Miz.
No, what made it even more funny is you got Otis going, "Oh yeah!" Right?
At which point he stopped and realised what the Miz had said to him.
Oh, no, he hadn't figured it out yet. Right? And then Miz is that upset. Right? He's that beside himself. He demands Otis to get Tucker, to get Heavy Machinery to face Miz and Morrison later on.
Well, he's so upset about somebody winning the Money in the Bank ladder match that his inner Teddy Long comes out and he demands a tag team match, player.
Yeah. And then Otis has to say to him that Tucker can't do the match.
That Tucker can't do the match because
he had a little accident, possibly with something to do with some trail or something, some Oregon Trail or something. I don't know.
I have no idea to what he's referring.
So basically,
unless this is base level WWE television, and he's either injured or Vince McMahon was making a poo reference. Either is equally likely,
right? Or it could be the way to split up
the most over tag team in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Well, no, I like the second most over, but the most over that WWE haven't fired for no apparent reason.
But I am so sorry to state this. We already know that Otis is the Shawn Michaels of Heavy Machinery and Tucker is Marty Jannetty. Sorry.
Yes, but that's not always the case, is it? Because let's face it, in 2010, everybody knew, without a shadow of a doubt, when they broke up Miz and Morrison, that Miz T. Jannetty wasn't going to be long for the company. And yet, that didn't turn out to be the case, did it?
True.
So you can never. I know what you're saying. Otis is over as hell, and Tucker just isn't. Aside from any residual he gets from just being in Heavy Machinery,
and has been getting fed to Dolph Ziggler,
which is never a good sign for your career. Jesus.
Yeah.
Getting told you've got to work as part of the Miz's team of lackeys is probably the only thing more a sure sign that you're for the scrap heap.
Right, are you ready for this?
Go on.
And you got Miz to turn around and says, "Oh my God, you can't even do that right."
Do what right? Sorry.
You can't even get your own tag team arranged right. Tell you what, go out in the back, get anybody to team up with you, and we'll face you.
Right. I'm expecting that the person you tell me that he chose to team up with him is going to be a premium grade. What the moment?
At which point...
I'm just trying to think of the least likely person.
Oh, no.
He didn't pick Mandy Rose, did he?
No. You ready for this? At
Because
which
that wouldn't have
point,
surprised
a
me.
stagehand got in the ring to add an extra chair, possibly for Otis and somebody else who
And
wasn't
the
there.
Miz thought that he wanted a fight. Oh,
No.
jeez.
It looked like it was going to be that, and I would have found that, and that would have still been entertaining. But more likely, Otis probably burying Miz and Morrison. But no, it's not. That's not the case. That's just Miz taking a pot shot at a stagehand, saying you could have been there sooner.
Yeah.
Right.
Who did it end up being? Who did he choose?
Right. He went for pick Sheamus, and Sheamus said no. And the person who came out, the Universal Champion,
Braun Strowman.
Braun Strowman.
Did not see that coming.
Yes.
Mind you, nor did anyone in the WWE writers' room, probably, until they drew his name out of the hat.
But then they teased something.
What?
They got the win.
New heavy machinery, Strowman and Otis.
Yeah, they got the win. Braun celebrating with the belt. Otis picks up the case and looking at him.
Ah.
He looks like he's about to hit him, but it looked like Otis took a little bit longer, deliberately waiting for him to turn round. I think Strowman turned round. He looked like Otis went for hit him and just stopped and fist bumped him.
I see.
Did it? But then it was like, had he done that because he got caught, or is he actually, and then Otis goes, I'm just joking with you, big fella.
Yeah.
Is WWE
Intriguing.
about to get their most over guy as a face turn heel?
As we've dropped hints to the level of Topsy-Turvy World, which we'll talk about at length next week, wouldn't surprise me. The way WWE does these things.
If they turn Otis heel, WWE, shoot yourselves.
I've literally shot themselves in the foot, thrown away millions and millions of dollars.
I'm not stating that as in any way. I'm not making a joke of suicide, by the way.
We knew that, but it's worth clarifying.
I'm just clarifying that. I'm just stating, throw your money in the fire.
Literally, get that pretend Money in the Bank briefcase from the conference room that Dana Brooke thought she'd won, that's full of pretend $100 bills, fill it with real ones, and then set them on fire.
Because you are legitimately doing that. You're basically, you'll be destroying one of your own superstars.
Yes.
In doing so.
It's kind of as retarded as the last time they tried to make The Miz be a face. He gave it his best. He did as much as he could. But my God, if there is anyone in that company that is just natural, the anti-John Cena, e.g. career-long heel, it's The Miz.
Yep.
In much the same way, new John Cena, e.g. he's a face, never let him stop being a face until such time as you've rammed him down the throat so much that you can't stop but make him a heel because everyone's got sick of him. It's
you mean
Otis.
Roman Reigns? You mean Roman Reigns, who's not getting a mention or even being actually on TV and God knows how long?
Well, yeah. So they need a replacement Roman Reigns. Step forward, Otis Reigns.
Nope, not going to happen. They're going to turn him heel.
I hope not, but as I said, this is WWE Topsy-Turvy World, so it's probably likely. Sadly.
It's going to happen. Jeez Louise.
Such is bullshit. Right, well, that just about wraps up the madness of Money in the Bank and, I think, Raw. Unless there's anything else you need to say on Raw. But
yes, we do.
Yet. Okay, Raw's not finished.
Raw isn't finished because we haven't mentioned the whole reason why Seth Rollins could be taking some time off, or why the women's Money in the Bank match ended up being for the women's championship.
Okay, well, for those of you that know anything about the real lives outside the ring of the WWE superstars, you've probably already put two and two together here. But for those of you that maybe haven't, please allow Matt Burns to explain.
Right. Raw started with a heartfelt promo.
Yes.
From the man, Becky Lynch.
Yeah.
Who came out and gave a plea to the WWE fans. And I'm looking at this and I'm thinking to myself, is she retiring? This looks like a retirement
Has she basically
speech.
Done one of those things where I've beaten everyone, I've got nothing left to prove, ta-ra, kind of things?
No, this looked more like...
Oh, this was more like a Daniel Bryan side of things, you were thinking?
Yeah, because she even added in the words of, I've got to go away for a while.
Oh. Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, is this a Daniel Bryan? Is this a Roman Reigns? What the hell's going on?
Leukemia, concussion, or something else horrible?
Has she got an injury or something?
Yeah.
I'm thinking worst case scenario.
Right. It's really unprofessional to mention this mid-broadcast, but while you're discussing this, you're on your own for half a minute, because I will burst if I don't.
Right, no. I'll
answer
just
the call of
continue on.
nature.
No. Just carry on. I'll just carry on. Leave it to me. I'll take over this segment. Basically,
that's cool. I'll be back shortly.
That's fine. Basically, in regards to it, what I'm just going to state is, it sounded like Becky Lynch is about to drop a bombshell for then Asuka to interrupt, and Becky actually praised her for interrupting, and Asuka still being in full character. This is a very serious moment at the same time, even though there's no crowd, and you got Becky Lynch praising Asuka, which is a bit unusual. She states, you might have noticed that you can't get into the briefcase. I've got the code. And she unlocks the code on the briefcase to reveal the WWE Raw Women's Championship, to state that it wasn't for a contract, it was for the actual match. And you can see Asuka looking a bit dumbfounded, a bit, she's saying, what's going on? Pinch me. Is this real? And at the same time, suddenly she goes, and you can see Becky going, no, you are legit the actual Raw Women's WWE Raw Women's Champion. For Asuka's jump in, going, way, I'm the champ, which was absolutely hysterical, because it's showing Asuka in their full glorious character, which she has been repeatedly every week, just, even reacting almost as if there's still a crowd there, jumping onto the announce table saying, go away, even to, kicking off at Samoa Joe, who's doing commentary on Raw with the guys who might be possibly injured, which is why he's doing commentary. And it was just really, really clever on how they did that with Asuka. But there's still that thought in the back of your head, why is Becky doing this? And everyone's thinking the worst, and all of a sudden Shinsuke comes back in and she goes, you were dominating, you probably, she's just like, and then she literally threw in the line of, Asuka, you go be WWE, kicking ass as the WWE Raw Women's Champion while I go home to be a mum, a mother. Basically, the reason why Becky Lynch needs to take time off is because the man has become the ma. Meaning she's going to become a mum. Now, with her becoming a mum, a mother, that could potentially explain why her match at WrestleMania against Shayna Baszler was not the absolute bomb burner that everyone expected to be. The proper, we're throwing everything into this match. Shayna Baszler's going to look like she's going to kill, Becky Lynch and everything. They might have done that because she might have actually been pregnant at the time. Now, there's even some speculation in certain tabloids and certain wrestling spreadsheets who have stated that they've had certain investigation where they've even had people stating that Becky Lynch has essentially possibly done a bit of a record by being technically the first female wrestler to wrestle at WrestleMania while pregnant.
I'm back, by the way. Interesting. Not a record that I'm sure she wanted or perhaps
expected.
Would have done if she'd known, but...
She had known. She had known.
No, I mean known with enough time in advance to back out.
Yeah.
But that's probably why the match was not the barn burner we all hoped for and kind of expected.
Seth Rollins when this was revealed, put out a picture of when she found out when she revealed she was pregnant to him. And I'll be honest with you, it is a heartfelt picture. Now, Seth is even fired at stating that WWE hung him out to dry at Hell in a Cell last year, and that, you know, he took a lot of blame for what he didn't need to take. But he's gone on record to state if he didn't go through that stuff, he wouldn't be doing the Messiah gimmick and everything, which has been absolutely genius. Now, yes. Seth Rollins could be doing the crazy gimmicks because eventually he's going to be taking some time off soon because he's about to be a dad as well.
As alluded to earlier, now you know why we were suggesting that.
Yes. And the best thing about it is when this was revealed, Asuka, you can see on her look, was half breaking character and not, because she's sort of still doing the celebratory, but for Becky at the same time. But it was like, Becky, which she should, if she's being a heel, she wouldn't normally do. But my God, what a feel-good moment that is!
Yeah, absolutely.
Now,
the whole and entire of the Burning Truth send their congratulations
to Seth Rollins,
both of them, Seth and
Becky Lynch. I do have to take a bit of a jab at WWE. Fucking really.
Go on, they tried to ruin the moment, didn't they?
No, they didn't ruin the moment.
No. Oh, well, there's a first. Go on, but what did they do that made you raise your eyebrows?
They suddenly added a new t-shirt on www.shop.com.
In spectacularly bad taste, and one that was removed almost as quickly as it went up.
It's still up.
Oh, but in bad taste.
You ready for this?
No, but I'm sat down, so take a risk.
You've seen the Becky Lynch t-shirt, The Man?
Yeah.
T-shirt?
Yeah.
Just hollow out the N on man. So you just got the outline of the N.
Yeah.
Basically, it looks like it still says The Man, but the Ma is highlighted more so.
Oh, I'm with you. It took a while for me to understand that because it's probably a visual gimmick. I probably have to see it, but now I get what you're saying. It's basically like highlighting that she's now going to be
a mom.
A mom, yeah.
Yeah, which is nice. But they're showing out the t-shirt that she's going to be a mother.
Well, to be honest,
so basically,
as long as she's got a good contract and she gets a nice, hefty percentage of all the royalties from said t-shirts, I don't think she cares.
If she isn't getting royalties off that and WWE are massively profiting off them t-shirts, then
no, I think she does. I think every superstar gets a cut of their merch.
They do.
Yeah.
But
that's what I'm saying.
I think for them t-shirts, she should be getting extra, seeing as that's her personal fucking life.
Well, WWE does love to blur the lines, don't they? And they carry on doing it, irrespective of whether it's right or not.
There's blurring the lines, and then there's just
profiteering arseholery. Is that the word you're looking for?
A little bit.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but WWE is profiting over the fact that she's pregnant.
Something which, yeah, as much as they'd love to control that and use it for storylines,
which is what they're doing.
And thank God. No, but I mean, you know, you can just imagine this kind of world where Vince McMahon is the god he always liked to imagine that he is, and he can just be like, "You're pregnant now. Why? It's good for storylines. Make me money."
No. It's not even that. It's like, oh, Vince, I've got some news to tell you. I'm pregnant. Okay, I don't care as long as it makes me money.
Same difference, really.
And you know what makes it so bad, by the way? People are actually ducking Vince McMahon now, by the way. They're hiding in cars to avoid him. He's in that much of a bad mood.
What's he in about? What can he possibly be in a bad mood about? He says, naively, knowing full well but just trying to gloss over the rant that both of us could go on independently of each other
I'll
and
speed
for
this up for
hours.
you. I'll speed this up for you. It's not like you could be upset over the fact that Raw's is based. Most shows for WWE are basically held with no fans or anything. There isn't the fact that he's just had to close up the XFL and had to file it for bankruptcy. There isn't the fact that
For the second time.
Yes, for the second time. There isn't the fact that he's actually being sued by multiple people, supposedly in regards to many different reasons. There isn't the fact that I believe he's just recently let somebody go over something to do with different policies or anything. But in regards to it, but I don't know too much into that. But we'll have to get into that possibly for next week if I'm able to look into it. Not just the words I stated.
But okay, so it's not any of these things.
Right. Oh no, it could be that, or just a combination of all of them.
Yes.
Or it could be the fact that as soon as he sees them, he's probably throwing a bad idea at them, and then they're saying, "Yeah, okay."
Who rightly knows?
Right.
But nonetheless,
now that's out the way.
That's Raw sorted.
That's Raw. SmackDown, on the other hand, are now actually currently doing an IC Championship tournament. I bet you're all sitting there thinking, huh? Why are they doing an IC Championship storyline? When
the hell?
Sami Zayn's champion.
Surely Sami Zayn beat Braun Strowman and has had precisely 0 defences since. What's going on?
No, he has had a defence.
Oh, has he?
Daniel Bryan.
I don't watch SmackDown. Oh, yeah, Daniel Bryan. Yes.
WrestleMania.
So why have they suddenly decided that there's a tournament?
Because Sami Zayn has decided to take time away due to health, possibly want to protect his family due to the current pandemic situation.
Which is fine, but breeds a massive cry of double standards in WWE's way again.
Does it?
Yes. Hello, interim cruiserweight championship, whilst letting a certain Irish ace keep the real one.
Yep.
Why can't they do that?
Because it's WWE. And take into account the Irish ace isn't on the main roster.
He's under the auspices of Triple H.
Sorry.
Does things the sensible way.
Basically, Sami Zayn has been stripped of the Intercontinental Championship.
And it has been handed over to the most decorated champion in WWE history. Vacant.
I know, that joke never gets old.
Never. And never
will. Basically...
there's a tournament, an 8-man tournament, to determine who the new champion will be. Because that, frankly, the only reason they haven't done a Battle Royal on the last half hour of SmackDown is because they fired or furloughed most of the talent that make most of the weight of a Battle Royal and get thrown out early in order for the Superstars to win.
Pandemic reasons.
Yeah, and because a tournament over a number of weeks fills far more TV time. Something that they're desperate for at the moment.
And I believe that we even had Daniel Bryan versus Coach Gulak. Drew Gulak.
Drew Gulak?
Yeah.
But hang on, haven't we got something else to say about him?
Yes, we do.
Was that not possibly the last time you'll ever see Drew Gulak on WWE television?
Possibly.
I mean, what with the whole Rockstar Drake Maverick thing, never say never, but yeah.
Now, just to make everyone aware, Drew Gulak is no longer under employment with WWE. And let me just point this out.
And he has decided, for the time being at least...
No. Stop. Right, that's fine. You already revealed it. It's all right. I was about to say, yes, his contract has ran up. And it's not the fact that he's been fired or the fact of that. Now, we don't know the reason why it's ran out. If it's ran out because WWE decided not to resign it, WWE, really, during a pandemic, you're just going to let
you
talent run out?
Bastards.
Now, this could backfire. Do you know why?
Yes. Because for the first time in his career, he's genuinely over.
Who?
Gulak.
Gulak is over, but he ended up losing in his last match. Right? But are you ready for this? For the big surprise? Yeah, WWE has just made a bit of a slip-up. If they don't actually get him contracted, You do realise that Drew Gulak can go anywhere he wants, effectively immediately.
Oh yeah, he has not been released from his contract. It expired, which means the 90-day no-compete clause does not apply.
Correct, meaning he can go wherever he wants if they are actually.
Which means if they are interested in any way, shape, or form, and I think they'd be idiots not to be, that company that Bayley has to wear a jacket so she doesn't inadvertently advertise every time she wears her title, might very well snap him up.
May very well, but at the same time, they've got to be careful. That AEW have got to be also careful not to become a WCW number 2.
Well, to be fair, Drew Gulak is hardly Edge or Randy Orton, is he? He's got most of his career in front of him, so they have got to be careful. But yeah, he's not like someone that could potentially further that reputation, which isn't one they've got so far, let's face it.
True, at the same time, but, TNA and Impact got blamed for it, saying, every time someone left WWE, we're just going to jump over to Impact because it's another wrestling company.
Yes, I don't think AEW will suffer from that particularly.
Hopefully.
Gulak may not join them. He may re-sign after he's had some time off to recharge. We don't know. We can only speculate, but we'll bring you more news as we get it, which, since we only broadcast once a week, may be as much as 6 days after you get it. But such is life.
Yes, but anyway, I believe out of all the topics that we've covered, that is it for this week. Unfortunately, we didn't cover the original topic because we had that much of a discussion in regards to Money in the Bank.
The discussion about Money in the Bank might take up quite a lot of time, and rather than tack it on for 5 minutes at the end and not do it justice, it makes sense to just hold it over to next week, bearing in mind it's not time specific, and we can give it a whole show and actually give it the respect and depth of discussion that it deserves.
Correct.
So with that in mind, is it plug o'clock?
It is plug o'clock, and would you kindly just leave me to it to just burst straight through it as quickly as possible for us?
Yeah, if I could absolutely have held in that long, I would have gone for answer the call of nature now and just left you to it. But as is, I had to go when I went. So, but nonetheless, yes, just crack on.
No worries. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for this week's regular, discussions for the Burning Truth. We're going to go on to plugs, which is I'm just going to recommend some checkouts. UKWA, also known as UK Wrestling Alliance, for basically check out charitable organisations like Change for Health and Wellbeing, Change Recovery Radio, Mind, Messy for Mind, Donna Louise, Hospice Care for Children and Young People, Cancer Research UK. The information could prove massively useful, and you can end up, helping somebody out with the information that they've got on their website. You never know. We, of course, also recommend you check out the lighter side of wrestling by check out Botchamania, WrestleCrap, and OSW Review. You're welcome, Matthew. You're welcome, R.D. Reynolds. And, of course, you're welcome, OSW Review guys. We, of course, also recommend you check out Paulo Pass Radio Show, hosted by Magic Mark Adams. And, of course, it is also his additional podcast that he's been doing from time to time. I believe he's just recently revealed that he's done 50 plus episodes of Don't Say the C Word, which is actually on Spotify. I highly recommend it. Yes, I have been a guest on it and is absolutely entertaining as hell. We, of course, also recommend you check out We the Independent on Spotify. That's with an IE, not a Y, because they've got some massively interesting interviews. Check out Think Wrestling, hosted by none other than Tom Baker, and we don't mean Doctor Who. We, of course, also need to mention that Train Pop Culture podcast is making a comeback soon, but I'll most likely have details in regards to that as soon as it does come back. And, of course, I also recommend you check out Hatred Theory, which I do have to put the disclaimer. If you do check out Hatred Theory, it is for more of it has more of a sweary language on there, so be advised that it may be unsuitable for certain listeners. Of course, we also recommend you check out Kayfabe Music, as they do absolutely amazing theme music. They do the Burning Truth theme music. They've done my wrestling theme music that I will be debuting hopefully when the current situation changes. We, of course, also recommend you check out Turnbuckle TV, where you are able to check out at least over 30 to almost 40 plus companies but for just $3.99. Amazing content on there. You know, $3.99, get to watch all UKWA shows and other wrestling companies. So please check it out. We, of course, also recommend you check out and support your own local wrestling companies like Future Championship Wrestling, United Wrestling, Pro Wrestling for You, Future Shock Wrestling, Academy Pro Wrestling, Falling Star Wrestling, Venom Wrestling Federation, Slam Wrestling, Wolfman Pro Wrestling, and many more. And just in case if you don't know if there is one around you, we of course also recommend you check out a mobile app, none other than Babyface Wrestling app, where you can check all your any information. You can follow any of your favorite wrestlers, follow any of your favorite wrestling companies. It is massively interesting, and I believe they've also got some blogs on there, so please, I do recommend that. And of course, we will also recommend the Burning Truth website, which is www.theburningtruthuk.com. I will just like to reiterate that we do actually have some external links under the link section, but please understand that we cannot be held responsible for external websites, as we do not control their content. And of course, check out our social media, which is we are on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, and you can actually listen to episodes of The Burning Truth on the website, on Spreaker, on YouTube, on Spotify, on Google Podcasts, on Deezer, on iTunes, and many other sources as well. And that is the plugs done for this week. So this
Wonderful.
So with that, let's get into the, this is, as we say, it's a wrap up. This is going to be our final message, which is always our mental health message, which is, at this moment in time, I'm just going to state, I know a lot of people are probably going to be wondering, probably thinking we've been in, basically on lockdown for multiple weeks, depending on where you are. I will state this: don't be afraid to pick up a phone. Don't be afraid to speak to anybody. And if you are having a bad day, you are okay to have a bad day. Don't worry. Everybody has a bad day. But if you feel though that you need to speak to somebody or need to seek help, please do so. And it's not a sign of weakness in whatever case, as we do actually quote Tom Campbell from Cultaholic. It's basically stating that never compare your behind the scenes to other people's greatest hits. But at the same time, I would like to just point out that regardless of you being behind closed doors or anything, you are only one phone call away, one message away from speaking to somebody, using the power of the internet, and they will most likely be there for you. But if you are having a bad day, fingers crossed it does get better, and we hope that, if you do need help, that you do seek it. But if that's not the case, but regardless of all that, stay awesome, everyone, and we'll hopefully catch you next week.
Indeed we will. Stay safe, stay awesome, and speak to you next week. Thanks for listening.
So with that, as Mikola was trying to reiterate, stay well, stay safe, and until the next episode, stay awesome. Share the love to your local wrestling promotions. Even give a phone call to some family, friends, and colleagues you haven't spoken to in a while. Until then, catch you later.
Ta-ta for now.